There are some people who claim to be the Mahdi, and I want to discuss 5 people, and I want to tell you and mention to you 5 of those people who claim to be Mahdi, and how we can benefit from their story. Because when the Mahdi truly does come, we don't want to fall into the trap, do we? We don't want to fall into the trap and be from those guys who are misguided. No. When the Mahdi does come, we want to know who the Mahdi truly is, and how can we do so? How can we know what is dark if you don't know what is light? How can you know what is Tawheed if you don't know what is Shirk? So let us try and find out who these people, these false Mahdi were that we're going to talk about, and why they were false Mahdis, and from that we will learn how the true Mahdi will truly be. From these false Mahdi, the first one is al-Mahdi al-Abbasi. This is called the Mahdi al-Abbasi, Muhammad Abdullah al-Mansur, Abi Ja'far al-Mansur. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah mentions in his Fatawa that Muhammad Abdullah, this person, his father by the name of al-Mansur was one of the Umayyad Khalifas. He wanted his son to be the Mahdi. So he changed his name, and he changed the name of his son into fitting into the hadith of Mahdi. So he called himself Abdullah, and what did he call his son? Muhammad. Now Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah mentions the reason why this Khalifa he did this was so that because at that time there was a man by the name of al-Nafs al-Madhloom who started to tell people that he was a Mahdi, and so the Khalifa wanted to counteract that, and he wanted his son to be the Mahdi. This man, Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Mansur, he ruled over the Muslims for about 11 years, and he died in the year 169 after Hijrah. Second Mahdi is therefore the Mahdi al-Maghribi. He is known as the Mahdi al-Maghribi, and he is, what's his name? Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Tirmidh. Okay, so we call him Ibn Tirmidh just to specify him, and so that people can know who he is. Ibn Tirmidh, this man, he was a student of knowledge, so he used to go around seeking knowledge. He lived at the time of Imam Ghazali, so he sought some knowledge from al-Ghazali as well. Then he heard about this thing called Mahdi, and he thought it would be a nice thing if I would become the Mahdi. Okay, he was also Jahmi in his belief, and he did not like the people at that time who were from Ahlul Sunnah al-Jama'ah in that place of al-Maghrib, who are known as the Murabitun. So he raised up his own party, you might say political party, calling himself the Muwahhideen, and he proclaimed himself to be the Mahdi. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentions in Manar al-Munif that this Mahdi of Maghrib, was the worst Mahdi that can ever come. He used to kill people. He used to kill ulama. Imagine a Mahdi killing ulama, Muslims, subhanAllah. That in itself is a sign that he's not the Mahdi. He used to rape women. He used to cut children out from the stomachs of their women, from pregnant women. He used to cut off the breasts of women, and he used to hang it around his neck. He used to, subhanAllah, he did so many things until he even nearly wiped out the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, nearly wiped out the Murabitun and replaced them with the Muwahhidun. Muwahhidun, they call themselves Muwahhidun, you know, people upon Tawheed, but really they were not, they were Jahmiyyah. Okay, so this is Ibn Tirmidh. He died in the year 524 after Hijrah. Then let's move on to Mahdi of Sudan. Now his name was Muhammad Ahmed, a bit different. Muhammad Ahmed bin Abdullah. His name was Muhammad Ahmed. He was from the Sufis, and he used to belong to the Tijani Tariq. So he also learned about the Mahdiyah, and he thought it would be a good way to actually bring people up, bring Muslims back up. And so he proclaimed himself to be the Mahdi, and he started to call the people towards his Mahdiship. And this Mahdi, he wrote in one of his books that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to me whilst I was awake, and the Khulafa al-Rashideen and all the righteous people from the day of Adam until the day of judgment came to me whilst I was awake, and they promised me victory, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would aid me with the forces from the heavens and the earth in every war that I do, and that I am better than Adam, and I'm better than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I'm better than them all, and that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself will come to every battle of mine and fight my battles for me. MashaAllah, wouldn't we all like that? So this is what he said. This is the Mahdi of Sudan. And alhamdulillah, when he actually started to, when he asked for, he was asking for trouble, obviously, when you write something like this, you're asking for trouble. So when he was asking for trouble, the armies of Egypt declared war on him in the year 1899 after the birth of Christ, AD, and in the year 1899 he was killed. This is Muhammad Ahmed at-Tijani. This is the Mahdi of the Sufis, the Mahdi of Sudan. Let's come to the fourth Mahdi, and that is Mahdi of Hind. We can't forget India, can we? We can't. We have to talk about India, the Mahdis from India as well. And this is Muhammad al-Jaunfuri. Muhammad Jaunfuri was one of the most devilish Mahdis that ever lived. One of the most devilish people who claimed to be the Mahdis. He was a Hafiz of the Quran, and he was a student of knowledge, and he went in and did Hajj. And then when he did Hajj, he found that, mashallah, this idea of Mahdi, he found a book on the Mahdis, and he found that this concept of Mahdi was a good thing to attract people, isn't it? So he used this concept of the Mahdi, and he proclaimed himself to be the Mahdi, and he made it a mission to kill all the ulama of Islam. And in fact, the ulama, Siddiq Hasan Khan and others mentioned that this man killed so many ulama that he could not even count. Scores and scores of ulama in India, Pakistan and Bangladesh at that time, obviously that part of the world, were wiped out because of the pillages of this man, Muhammad al-Jaunfuri. Alhamdulillah, he was killed in the year 910 after Hijrah. Then we come to the Mahdi of Saudi Arabia. Mahdi of Saudi Arabia. And this is something that our brother Abu Amina Bilal Phillips had mentioned to me, while I was speaking to him. And he mentioned to me that when he was a student in the university, this man by the name of Juhayman, as you know, you might have heard of the story, in the year 1979, he proclaimed himself to be the Mahdi. And he took over Mecca at that time. He took over the Kaaba at that time, and he proclaimed himself to be the Mahdi. And he mentioned that a lot of students left the university and went to join him. And he said that I was about to go. He said I was about to leave. SubhanAllah, look at this. When the reality comes and when people do proclaim to be the Mahdi, and it is so confusing if you don't know who the Mahdi truly is and what the Quran and Sunnah says about the Mahdi. And so this man, the Juhayman al-Qahtani, his name was Muhammad al-Juhaymani al-Qahtani, he took over Mecca and he killed all the Hujjaj over there. He killed all the people doing Tawaf and Umrah, etc. He killed the guards over there until the Kibar ulama in the ulama of Saudi Arabia, they had their fatwa in the year 1979, in which they told the Hukuma to take whatever measures possible to kill the Mahdi, even if it be by bringing the army in and killing the Mahdi, killing this false Mahdi. And as we know as well, Sheikh Albani rahimahullah and also Sheikh Ibn Baz mentioned that the Mahdi, this guy came to them and said, accept my Mahdiship, I'm the Mahdi, give me bay'ah. And they all said no. They tried to advise him, come here my son, chill out, you're not the Mahdi yet, it's not time yet. And this guy just wouldn't listen. What can you do?